The 1944 Mai Tai is everyone's favorite. It's the original Mai Tai made with the infamous 17-year-old J. Ray and Nephew rum. It's important because it was the first one, the original. But it's not the Mai Tai that made the Mai Tai famous. That would be the one from the territory of Hawaii. In fact, if the Mai Tai did not go to Hawaii and didn't go to Hawaii the way that it did, then we probably would not be talking about it at all today. In 1953, Trader Vic was hired by the Matson Company to create drink menus for their cruise line as well as the Royal Hawaiian and Moana hotels, which they also owned. At the Royal Hawaiian, Vic would create a small menu for the surf bar which included just 10 cocktails, Planter's Punch, Scorpion, Zombie, and toward the bottom of the menu, the Mai Tai. And if you look closely at the menu, you won't see Trader Vic's name anywhere. When Trader Vic was asked about the drink, Vic would say it's his favorite. A stark contrast from other drinks like the Zombie and the Fog Cutter, where Vic would say he never drank them and he didn't know why anyone ordered them. There was another guy that also did not like the Zombie. In Hawaii, the Mai Tai's popularity is not immediate. After years and years on the menu at the Royal Hawaiian, we can see the Mai Tai recipes start to be mentioned in print, from travel writers and journalists to syndicated columnists. Newspapers today are obviously not the same as they would have been back in the 1950s, and the instant viral nature of something today would have taken months and years in the 1950s and would have happened in television or print. That's magazines and newspapers. As the Mai Tai was mentioned more and more, people started asking for the recipe. Trader Vic was not as secretive as Don the Beachcomber, but he still had some secrets, some that they have kept to this very day. But the Mai Tai was not really a secret. We see a letter he sent to someone who wrote in asking for it. This is what I'd call the Hosfield Mai Tai, sent to Edwin Hosfield in 1956. But Trader Vic also doesn't share this Mai Tai recipe officially or in print during this time, and not until the 1970s, but that also doesn't matter because the most important aspect of the Mai Tai going to Hawaii was how it got there. Trader Vic was hired to create a menu, not to open an outpost. With that means sharing the recipe with the bartenders employed by the Matson, the Royal Hawaiian, and the Moana hotels. Those are not Trader Vic employees, which means there is no control over those recipes once they're handed over. It's also important to know that Trader Vic could not open his own Trader Vic's in Hawaii at that time. He had already done that, and it didn't work out. In December of 1940, Trader Vic's Honolulu opened, but he didn't do it alone. He had partners on the island. But that relationship did not last long. By April of the following year, Granville Abbott bought out Trader Vic and the partnership was dissolved. They would also trademark the usage of the Trader Vic name in the territory of Hawaii, essentially not allowing him to open another restaurant. But the Trader Vic's in Honolulu still was able to serve Trader Vic food and drinks that everyone was accustomed to. But that was in 1941, and the Mai Tai was still not created for another 3.5 years. So when Trader Vic was approached by Matson, not only was it a business opportunity with the company that he knows, since Matson was also a Bay Area company, but it was his only way to really have a presence in the territory of Hawaii. And the recipe he gives is not the same as the one from 1944. He changes up the rum from a 17-year-old fine Jamaican rum to a split base of light Puerto Rican-style rum and a dark, heavy Jamaican rum. It's cheaper and more palatable to the masses. Many variations of that recipe are shared in print with the split base of a light rum and a dark rum. That would grow in popularity on the island and in the mainland from newspapers, magazines, word of mouth, and marketing, because Trader Vic would put his thumb on the scale as well, selling his own Mai Tai mixes and Mai Tai rum blends. So it's not the original from 1944, but it's also the reason that the drink became known. Without it, you're not talking about the 1944 Mai Tai or that 17-year-old bottle of rum. No one would care. It's also important to remember that the original Hawaiian Mai Tai, the one first served at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, didn't have any goddamn pineapple juice. And while there are plenty of recipes from the late 1950s and early 1960s, I like the one shared by Stanton Delaplane. Start with the juice of 1 lime or 1 ounce of lime juice, a dash of rock candy syrup, and that equals 1/4 ounce, a dash of orgeat syrup, a dash of orange curacao. The original probably used something like the Kuiper, but I want to drink this one, so I'm going to use the things that I like. 1 ounce of a light rum. Same thing with the rums. I'm going with a light rum that I enjoy drinking. And 1 ounce of a dark Jamaican rum. And I'm using my favorite dark rum. Make sure you drop that shell into the glass, as Trader Vic said to do. And you're supposed to garnish this with some mint, a pineapple stick, and a sugarcane stick. But sugarcane sticks are hard to find, so I'm just going to use an orchid because that's what I have on hand instead. So there you go, the world famous original Hawaiian Mai Tai. All right, let's try it. It's a great Mai Tai. It's a simple Mai Tai. It's actually somewhat of a refined Mai Tai. You have the flavors of, the lime juice and then a little bit of the sweetness that's not as sweet as a lot of other Mai Tais, and then you're getting the dark rum. So use a dark rum that you like when you're making this. So I don't have any other tasting notes on this one, but the day I'm going to share this is going to be Mai Tai Day. That's August 30th. And that's not National Mai Tai Day, okay? I'm going to be a little stick in the mud here for a second. These holidays are all bullshit. Rum Day, Margarita Day, Tequila Day, Pina Colada Day. They're all made up by like a person that said, hey, I think that today should be Margarita Day. And then a calendar company online says, yeah, let's put that on the calendar. And then everyone just repeats that. Sometimes these things are created by the brands behind them or promoted by the brands behind them, which is fine. But there's just this stupidity of it. So if it's National Margarita Day, I live in California. I live in the United States of America. And then there's someone in South America. There's someone in the United Kingdom. They're also celebrating National Margarita Day on the same day that I'm celebrating National. How does that make sense? It doesn't. These are just made up by people. Except for Mai Tai Day, not International Mai Tai Day, not National Mai Tai Day, Mai Tai Day. That's a holiday that was determined by the city of Oakland by a proclamation because the cocktail was created in Oakland. It's the home of the Mai Tai, and they decided to make it official to them. So it's not official to everyone, but there is this official nature behind it. So it is not a national holiday unless the United States government passes a law determining something to be a holiday. It is not National Day of whatever bullshit thing is going on, except for August 30th, which is, of course, Mai Tai Day. Now, I've covered the Mai Tai a lot. I'm sure I've covered it more than anyone else ever has on YouTube by a factor of multiple. But the Mai Tai itself is just a cocktail. But there's these interesting stories and narratives behind it that make it interesting. And that can only exist in Tiki cocktails because there is no other genre of cocktails that has this whole culture around it. And whether you call it Tiki or, faux Polynesian or Polynesian pop, they're all separate things. But that movement that started in the early 1900s and really has continued at some point, ups and downs until today, that's what is connected to Tiki cocktails and make it interesting that there's a culture around it. But it's also bigger than that culture because you have this huge movement through the mid-century with figures like Steve Crane and Don the Beachcomber and of course Trader Vic, and the jockeying of these big businesses that are spread around the country and around the world that are introducing more and more cocktails. And it's not about having a small cocktail, it's about having as many cocktails as possible and people stealing cocktails from each other. It's all in the sense of expansion and more and more and more, which is a very American thing. But that's why these things are so fascinating. It's not just this tiny little bar that has a couple classic cocktails. It's dozens of restaurants across the world at this point, all focusing on this style of cocktail, and then the people copying each other and the legal battle between Vic and Don the Beachcomber and the secrecy behind these recipes. These are the things that make this the most interesting genre of cocktail. It's not just about the ingredients of the drinks, even though I find the ingredients to be the best of any genre of cocktail, but it's everything that surrounds it, the cultural movements, the people, the stories, the documentation of those stories, which you just don't have in any other genre of cocktails. And that's why Tiki cocktails are so interesting, and they're going to continue to be interesting, and why for some reason I'm interested and people are interested in 20 plus videos on the Mai Tai. And that's why it gets its very own holiday, Mai Tai Day, not National Mai Tai Day. And before we go, just a huge thank you to the Make and Drink Patreon community. I started that Patreon 1 year ago today on Mai Tai Day of last year, and I didn't have any idea. I'd never really done a real Patreon as a patron before, and I didn't really know what to expect, but I'll just be honest. If it wasn't for the Make and Drink Patreon, I don't know if I'd still be doing this. I may have quit by now. So I appreciate everyone who has joined that over the last year and supported the channel and built up a fun community of cocktail nerds that are too interested in things like acid adjusting and coconut mix and Brix levels and all the other sort of nonsense that makes this a little bit more fun. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for supporting this channel. If you want to support this channel more, just give this video a like below. Consider subscribing. Otherwise, I'll see you next time, which may or may not be another Mai Tai video.
Sing, Hawaii, sing, sing with joyous heart.